fun. All right, so let's talk about the market. October finished very strong in home sales. We had an increase in closed sales versus. I take that back. I'm sorry. We had actually a step down. I'm getting ahead of myself. I was thinking about prices. We had an increase or a decrease in the number of homes sold for October versus October last year. You got to put a big caveat on that one because comparing any real estate market data to 2020, especially the late in the year, is not a fair comparison because the third and fourth quarter of 2020 were just blockbuster sales.
Right. People were catching up from the early days of COVID when everything was shut down. We weren't even showing houses.
Yep.
We weren't touring houses. We didn't know what was going on. So when you look at second quarter last year of 2020 versus third quarter and fourth quarter, is significantly different than this year.
Just to put this in perspective, though, we had 1,250 homes sell in the metro Albuquerque area. That's a lot of homes changing hands, and so that's again, it's a very strong, steady, healthy market. And if you look at the pending sales, which these are the properties that will now close, these pending in October, meaning so now they're going to close probably November, maybe into December, right? And that was very strong. In fact, it was above 2020.
Right.
So there's still strong demand out there. There's still very limited supply out there. In fact, we just hit another low this week. And
of homes on the market.
Of the homes on the market.
For sale.
Yeah, actually back in June, we had a really low number of homes on the market. It's come up a little bit since then, but now it started to tick back down again, which is not uncommon this time of year, Tracy, because of just the seasonality of the real estate market. People start thinking, well, the holidays are coming. I don't really want my home on the market. And, maybe there's no buyers out there right now and that. So I'm going to go back to market stats.
Great. Start there and end there.
Yeah. Home prices have definitely climbed substantially over the last year. We're probably appreciating somewhere around 14-15% in our market, which is very strong, and some people would say unhealthy strong, but it's actually less than a lot of other markets. So I kind of like that.
Right.
We have seen prices plateau here in the last few months, and like I said earlier, that's very common this time of year, where we see a big run up in and not a big, but the jump in appreciation usually goes through the summer, and then it'll plateau this time of year, which it is. We're not talking big difference, but it's interesting. So people that are thinking to sell, just like we talked about earlier, prices are at all-time highs right now for the Albuquerque market area.
You know what's interesting, though, and I know you don't have the chart pulled up, but if you look at 20 to 30 years of home prices on a chart with the typical 3 to 4% every year increase, and you go back to 2007, 2008 when it dropped way down, and then we didn't have that 3 to 4% for many years, we're actually still just in line or still slightly below where home prices would be on that line. And that probably doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people because you can't visualize it. But
yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. We are.
If we wouldn't have had that, we probably would be at higher prices right now.
Yeah, I think another way to say that, or kind of taking off of that, is that Albuquerque from 2012 till today has not appreciated as fast as a lot of the other markets.
There you go.
Right, and so that's healthy because this unhealthy 15% price appreciation is something that just can't it can't be sustained, and it does appear that it's starting. The pace of appreciation will be slowing down, which is good. I'm not saying that prices are going to go backwards. It doesn't look that way, but But forecasting, what the market's going to do is can also be pretty futile. So I want to be really careful. There was a big story in real estate this week about Zillow, who was doing some stuff where they would buy homes and then resell them right away. Well, they got ahead of themselves and they overpaid for some homes, and they've stopped doing that practice. It wasn't happening in Albuquerque, but it was happening in other markets. So, it's difficult to predict the housing market, and I think a big company like Zillow, not figuring that out the hard way, just proves that it's very specific to the home, the neighborhood, the side of the street that it's on. Everything.
Be local.
Be local.
Thanks, Eddie. Always happy to be here.